Hi, my name is Jeremy Dahl, and I'm your featured presenter for SQL Server 2014. In this video, we're going to be talking about what's new in SQL Server 2014 Standard and Enterprise editions, take a look at pricing and licensing, and then go over some readiness actions that you can take. Let's start today's session by looking at some key trends that are impacting customer priorities when it comes to their data platform solutions. The data explosion trend is only accelerating, growing into the zettabytes this year as per a study from IDC. Some of the new datasets we are seeing include social networking, device-based applications, real-time website clickstream data from e-commerce sites, and geotagged mapping data. Another key trend we're observing is the growth of revenue, especially in small and medium businesses, rapidly outpacing the growth of staff. Likewise, in enterprises, there will be an even greater pressure on departmental apps to be efficient with resources as IT focuses on new business needs and mission-critical applications. The adoption of cloud computing by customers is enabling innovation, including better and faster customer service through the cloud, faster development cycles, along with a faster time to market, to name a few. With 1.1 trillion being spent in cloud innovation, that's not just big business investing in the cloud, that's every business. Hosting is one of the fastest growing areas in technology, and the ability to tap into the efficiencies of the cloud will be essential to stay competitive. SQL Server has come a long ways when it comes to tackling mission-critical applications. With SQL Server 2012, we introduced a comprehensive set of capabilities across performance with in-memory capabilities for data warehousing in addition to in-memory analytics and security, along with a zero transaction loss high availability with always on. SQL Server 2012 also brought to market one of the most comprehensive BI platforms for both the IT implementers and business users with data quality service and Power View in Excel. SQL Server 2014 is all about breakthrough performance via the third release of in-memory technology built into the SQL Server called In-Memory OLTP. With SQL Server 2014, you can uniquely speed transactions, queries, and analytics, as well as throughput. SQL Server also leverages fantastic new capabilities in the Windows Server 2012 and 2012 R2 to provide predictable performance and scale for your Tier 1 applications, with technologies like NIC teaming, storage spaces, and SAN-like intelligence built right into the OS. Finally, with the release of SQL Server 2014, we took the hybrid cloud platform capabilities that were introduced in SQL Server 2012 to the next level. There are new compelling scenarios for your on-premise SQL Server applications, like simplified cloud backup and cost-effective disaster recovery for your SQL Server applications on-premise. SQL Server 2014 follows the same SKU model as SQL Server 2012, with better addition alignment across workloads, including the business intelligence SKU for BI needs and a powerful Tier 1 offering for enterprise and mission-critical needs. Enterprise Edition is the most comprehensive offering, including mission-critical OLTP databases and end-to-end business intelligence capabilities. The key features in SQL Server Enterprise are SQL Server Always On, our integrated high availability and disaster recovery solution, and in-memory for OLTP and data warehousing, offering performance gains of up to 10 times. The Enterprise Edition includes all of the capabilities in the Business Intelligence Edition. The new Business Intelligence Edition offers a full suite of powerful BI capabilities, including Power View, for rapid data discovery and interactive data visualizations. Managed self-service analytics enable collaboration through SharePoint while maintaining data compliance, and a single BI semantic model simplifies the development of BI applications. The BI edition is inclusive of Standard Edition. Standard Edition remains the best choice for departmental use with limited scale. It delivers fundamental database and BI functionality. SQL Server Standard Edition delivers three major advantages. First, business class data management. SQL Server 2014 Standard Edition's mission is to provide business class data management for a wide variety of database applications with the reliability and uptime, security, and manageability that users need, all at a low total cost of ownership. Secondly, it's the cloud on your terms. At the same time, our customers are innovating in the cloud, enabling new solutions and business models. With SQL Server 2014, we enable practical, high-value apps that can positively impact your bottom line and set up with just a few clicks. Finally, faster insights across your data. When it comes to business intelligence, our mission is to deliver faster insights into data found across your organization and to deliver BI in an easily consumable manner so business users can ask and answer questions through familiar tools. If you are wondering whether you should upgrade, here are some of the great new features in SQL Server 2014 Standard Edition. First, performance. The maximum memory utilized per instance of SQL Server Standard has been increased to 128 gigabytes for better performance in memory-heavy applications. As well, Buffer Pool extension provides the seamless integration of a non-volatile random access memory extension for solid-state drives to the database engine Buffer Pool to significantly improve I/O throughput and increase performance. Delayed transaction commits provide increased performance for non-critical workloads when disk I/O is slow, such as hosted web applications. In addition, Query Optimizer enhancements aid in query planning for easier and more accurate performance tuning. Under Security, new permissions enhance security, enabling administrators to increase separation of duties by isolating permissions based on roles, such as separate permissions for the sysadmin. Backup encryption supports greater data security whether your backups are stored on-premises or in Windows Azure. And then Cloud Readiness, easily deploy existing on-premise SQL Server databases to the cloud using the Windows Azure Deployment Wizard. This feature is great for both moving applications and setting up dev and test environments. Backing up to Windows Azure enables easy SQL Server backups to and restores from the cloud using cost-effective and geographically redundant Windows Azure blob storage. You can manage cloud backups and restores directly within SQL Server Management Studio. SQL Server Data Files enables users to run computing on-premises while storing data in the cloud for greater data availability across a geographically dispersed business. SQL Server 2014 is helping deliver greater uptime, better performance, and reduced downtime at a low cost of ownership. New for 2014, the maximum memory available to a SQL Server Standard Edition database has been increased to 128 gigabytes. As well, Buffer Pool extension provides the seamless integration of a non-volatile random access memory extension to the database engine Buffer Pool to significantly improve I/O throughput and increase performance while using solid-state drives. New delayed durability provides increased performance when disk I/O is slow, such as with hosted web applications. Delayed transaction commits provide increased performance for non-critical workloads through the option for increased transaction throughput and lower latency. Likewise, Query Optimizer enhancements make query planning more accurate and performance tuning even easier. Scale up to 16 cores, whether physical or virtual, for increased computing power. Scalability is aided by easy virtualization using Microsoft Hyper-V and a common architecture across an on-premise and Windows Azure virtual machines. Easy administration using SQL Server Management Studio and System Center helps keep a growing environment up to date. SQL Server Standard Edition customers can still utilize database mirroring, log shipping, and two-node failover clustering for basic high availability. Many factors combine to help keep SQL Server Standard Edition downtime low. Support for deploying on Windows Server Core, which is a minimal server install with fewer server roles, can reduce OS patching by as much as 50 to 60%. Virtualizing with Hyper-V helps maintain uptime and eliminate planned downtime using live migration, which is now available for both clustered and non-clustered environments, and Hyper-V Replica, both of which are now even faster with Windows Server 2012 R2. Finally, support services from Microsoft help keep your business application up and running with access to a global network of subject matter experts. When it comes to security, the results speak for how important we feel about providing the best security for our customers. As you can see from the latest National Institute of Standards and Technology Comprehensive Vulnerability Database, published on April 17, 2013, we continue to lead the way 5 years in a row as the least vulnerable database among the top data platforms tracked. SQL Server databases are secure by design. Microsoft redefined our entire SQL Server security engineering process about 6 years ago when a virus called Slammer hit, and it is a big part of why you see the results that you do. Security is a top priority in SQL Server engineering across all disciplines, from development to test. SQL Server allows you to leverage the identity management already in place with Active Directory authentication, and SQL Server 2014 Standard Edition now separates database administrator role from system administrator role, called the separation of duties, for greater security. In addition, you can even create more granular DBA roles with different access rights for greater compliance. For example, you could have a DBA role that can manage databases but cannot see user data. If you want to reduce the attack surface even further, SQL Server 2014 also supports Windows Server Core with limited server roles. SQL Server Standard Edition helps ensure compliance related to auditing. Audit reporting can be enhanced by reporting across all SQL Server editions through your Enterprise Edition environment. Finally, the new backup encryption feature provides encryption support for backups, whether on-premise or in Windows Azure. Not only are we enabling new unique hybrid scenarios, we are also simplifying cloud adoption for our customers. With SQL Server 2014, we will also ship a new migration wizard that will help DBAs easily migrate their on-premise SQL Server instance to Microsoft Azure, and once again be able to do this directly through the SQL Server Management Studio. As you can see from the screenshot here, with just a point and click, your instance will be up and running in Microsoft Azure in no time. Once you become familiar with Microsoft Azure, you can start to take advantage of the Microsoft Azure virtual machines to run many scenarios in the cloud, including a fast dev or test of your SQL Server applications, moving existing applications, or doing hybrid scenarios like we talked about. BI scenarios can be easily created in the cloud because you have full SQL Server functionality, including all of the BI services. In addition to this, you have full control over the VM, so if you want to install your corporate antivirus on the VM, you can do so. Once you become comfortable with the Microsoft Azure environment, you can take advantage of the Microsoft Azure SQL Database Service offering that will speed up development of your database application even faster because you don't have to manage the database. Because it's a service, you don't have to patch the OS for the database, as this is something that we take care of. All you need to do is develop your application using the service. The SQL Database Service also has unique cloud features like dynamic scalability of the database using federations, which a company named Flavorist did to achieve their business goals. In addition, this database service also offers an SLA for the database running inside the VM, so you don't have to think about setting up high availability because it is built into the database service by default. This is where we see cloud applications having faster development, less maintenance, and faster time to market. SQL Server 2014 enables new hybrid cloud solutions that can help you reduce capital expenses and operational expenses while improving things like disaster recovery. With SQL Server and Windows Azure, you have the ability to back up your on-premise databases to Windows Azure and do this in an easy and efficient manner. You can enable policy-based backup directly to Azure Storage, and all you need is the URL and the storage key. The backup is policy-based and set at an instance level, meaning that all of your databases within the instance will follow the policy set, and the backup can be implemented both manually or it can be automated. In addition, you gain the benefits of Windows Azure Storage, which offers geo-replication that replicates the backups stored in multiple data centers, so you have even better DR for your backups. And in case of an on-premise failure, you can restore the backups in Windows Azure virtual machines. When it comes to the Microsoft Data Platform, there are three key areas that we continue to invest in, starting by providing a differentiated and high-performing data platform for your largest Tier 1 applications. Secondly, accelerating insights on any data, big or small, with breakthrough and innovative tools for business users closest to the business problem. Thirdly, in every release of SQL Server, starting with SQL Server 2012, you'll continue to see more and more hybrid cloud capabilities built right into SQL Server. Hybrid scenarios like simplified backup and cloud disaster recovery are just some examples of new scenarios we are enabling for your on-premise SQL Server applications that let you gain the cost and scale-out efficiencies of cloud computing. Key capabilities at a high level when it comes to mission critical include in-memory capabilities across all workloads, including OLTP, DW, and BI. When it comes to security, SQL Server has consistently been ranked the most secure with the least amount of vulnerabilities 5 years in a row, including this year, according to the National Institute of Standards and Technology Comprehensive Vulnerability Database. SQL Server 2014 with Windows Server 2012 and Windows Server 2012 R2 can provide cost-effective mission-critical scale across physical and virtual environments. We know that mission-critical is all about the nines when it comes to high availability, and with SQL Server 2014, we have made the customer favorite always-on feature even better to give you the nines you need for your mission-critical applications. Finally, none of these features matter unless we are there to support you in case of issue or failures, and we certainly offer the live mission-critical support you expect for your mission-critical workloads. Before digging in deeper on mission-critical performance, let's take a look at how a customer has seen business benefits by utilizing the SQL Server 2014 mission-critical performance capabilities. EdgeNet is a software-as-a-service provider that provides the decision buying guide with specific product recommendations for online retail storefronts for many large retailers. Given the sheer volume of inventory they are managing across their retailers, they were in the past only able to accommodate daily inventory refreshes, which led to some customer dissatisfaction situations. Customers could be presented with an ideal product based on the decision buying guide and not have it be available for purchase, as inventory was only updated daily. The business challenge that EdgeNet had was how to improve performance without increasing infrastructure costs. Their solution was SQL Server 2014's new in-memory OLTP capability, which, without refreshing hardware, increased their transaction speed by 7 times, resulting in near real-time inventory updates. In addition, They also increase the throughput of the system, allowing for a greater number of customers to hit an instance of SQL Server, improving both retail sales and customer satisfaction. Now that you have seen how EdgeNet benefited from SQL Server's in-memory capabilities, let's take a closer look at our unique in-memory approach. First and foremost, our in-memory approach is unique in the marketplace because it is built into the core databases. It is not a separate database solution, and so there are major benefits of this, including not having to rewrite your entire SQL Server application and still being able to see dramatic performance benefits. On average, we are seeing 10 times the transaction speed from our customers testing our new in-memory capabilities. We have even seen up to 50 times improvement, but it all depends on the amount of business logic that is done in the database via stored procedures. The greater the logic in the database gives the greater performance increase. The more the business logic sits in the app, the less opportunity there is for performance increase. In addition to performance gains without rewriting the app, another key benefit of the built-in approach is that you can also leverage full SQL Server capabilities as well as in-memory. This is not the case with standalone in-memory database solutions. Not only is it built in, it is also uniquely interoperable with non-memory tables. This way you can optimize the memory you have for the most utilized tables and leave others on disk. This also means you won't have to go out and buy expensive new hardware to make large in-memory databases work. You can optimize in-memory to fit your existing hardware. Finally, we are focusing on in-memory OLTP because it is one of the biggest features in SQL Server 2014. But we also have in-memory capabilities across all workloads, including OLTP, DW, and BI. Best of all, you don't have to buy 5 or 10 different SKUs to make this happen, as it is all included in the Enterprise SQL Server 2014 SKU. Let's take a look at another customer seeing significant benefits from utilizing in-memory OLTP capabilities of SQL Server 2014. bwin is an online gaming company, and their revenue directly equates to the number of transactions per second. With SQL Server 2014's in-memory OLTP, they improved their transaction speed by 16 times without investing in new expensive hardware. Key in-memory features include new in-memory OLTP, an enhanced column store that is now updatable and offers greater data compression in addition to in-memory speed for DW, and in-memory BI with Power Pivot. Also new is extended paging to SSDs from your buffer pools, as well as an enhanced query processing that will improve all query performance across all workloads up to 3 times faster. Okay, before moving on, I'm sure many of you are wondering how we compare to the recent announcements from Oracle at OpenWorld with regards to new in-memory capabilities. In summary, they are still playing catch-up to SQL Server when it comes to in-memory capabilities. What they announced as an in-memory data warehousing column store, which we released in SQL Server 2012. They still don't have in-memory OLTP built into Oracle 12c, and it still has to be bought as a separate database with times 10, which goes back to the disadvantage of not being built in. For example, times 10 doesn't work with RAC. High availability is typically viewed as a top priority when it comes to mission-critical workloads, and with SQL Server 2012, we introduced the Always On feature, which provides the nines necessary for mission-critical workloads, and per customer feedback thus far, is viewed as the top-ranking feature introduced in SQL Server 2012 when it comes to mission-critical. In SQL Server 2014, this feature gets even better to provide you increased availability, greater efficiency, as well as being easier to deploy and manage. When it comes to increased availability, you can now fail over multiple databases at a time, both manually and automatically, and you can now have up to 8 secondary replicas if necessary. This allows you to offload even more BI and reporting using additional secondaries. Also, when doing online operations on your secondaries, they can be 100% available. SQL Server 2014 supports Windows Server 2012 R2 clustered shared volumes, allowing you to provide enterprise-class high availability without expensive SANs, positively impacting your bottom line. In addition, you can improve the efficiency of your secondaries by offloading read functions like BI reporting to the secondaries, and can even use the secondaries for backups. Finally, SQL Server 2014 introduces new wizards that allow you to simplify the deployment of replicas on-premise and to Windows Azure. We'll talk more about deploying replicas to Windows Azure a little bit later. When it comes to managing, you can monitor the replicas in SSMS and System Center. This diagram shows you a typical always-on, high-availability deployment where there is a synchronous replica for disaster recovery, asynchronous for backups, and both secondaries are being actively utilized for greater efficiency. This allows you to offload reads and backups to secondaries even during network failures. As its business grows, Lufthansa Systems, the IT services subsidiary of the famed airline, wants to anticipate customer needs for cost-effective high availability and disaster recovery solutions. Lufthansa Systems operates failover clusters and database log shipping. At a minimum, That requires primary and backup data centers at a given site. For customers with the strictest requirements, it can require geographically dispersed sites. But the more powerful the data recovery solution, the more expensive it is. More infrastructure must be bought, although it will mostly sit idle, and more staff must be hired, although they may sit idle too. And in an environment in which every second of downtime can mean hundreds of thousands in dollars of lost revenue for its customers, Lufthansa Systems is always looking to improve data recovery speeds along with reducing solution costs. The organization is piloting a hybrid high availability and disaster recovery solution that uses Microsoft SQL Server 2014 software and Microsoft Azure. The architecture is a hybrid on-premise cloud combination consisting of two primary virtual instances of SQL Server 2014 at the Kelsterbach data center and another primary virtual instance in Microsoft Azure. Each instance has a virtual replica to which it fails over if needed, and all the instances, primary and secondary, are part of a coordinated SQL Server always-on availability group. The on-premise instances are synchronous, the Microsoft Azure instances are asynchronous. Lufthansa Systems tests the architecture by importing all system data into it and repeatedly simulating both soft and hard shutdowns of single and multiple nodes, as well as restorations of those nodes. Primary failovers are to on-premise nodes, with the Microsoft Azure nodes being used in simulations of complete shutdowns of the on-premise nodes. Lufthansa System is realizing both lower recovery time objectives and better recovery point objectives. Recovery time objectives have dropped from minutes to seconds, with RPOs that are near zero, resulting in almost no data loss. In addition, with the Microsoft Azure Cloud Computing Platform and infrastructure, costs should drop by roughly 30% over the expense of building and staffing a solution at each customer site. And now let's look at the partner opportunities that are available with SQL Server 2014. Ideal customers are those experiencing downtime and performance bottlenecks caused by an outdated database. Also look for organizations who are focused on solutions for data protection and business continuity. There are three key scenarios that provide a great opportunity for you to take advantage of the upgrade opportunity. With SQL Server 2014, you can capitalize on a tremendous upgrade opportunity. Help SMBs update their infrastructure and get more value from their investment. SQL Server 2014 offers a range of capabilities to help address common performance bottlenecks, including new in-memory OLTP and Enterprise Edition and higher max memory limits across all editions. There's also a great opportunity to drive cloud service revenue by enabling hybrid scenarios. With Microsoft, you have the unique ability to deploy on-premise, in the cloud, or choose the right combination for your customers. Another key area where SMBs can get more value from their IT investment is the database. Many customers are running older database software. In fact, according to Spiceworks, 82% are still running at least one occurrence of SQL Server 2005. As small and mid-sized customers' businesses grow, they demand more from their databases, and many begin to experience the pain of slow-performing database or system downtime. With SQL Server 2014, you can make powerful database functionality available to small and mid-sized organizations. SQL Server is available in Standard Edition, which includes the SQL Server database and basic business intelligence functionality like operational reporting, and Enterprise Edition, the most comprehensive offering for mission-critical requirements. SQL Server offers a range of capabilities to help address common performance bottlenecks without having to purchase new hardware. The release of SQL Server 2012 Enterprise Edition brought new in-memory capabilities that dramatically enhanced performance for applications and analytics without having to buy new hardware. With SQL Server 2014 Enterprise Edition, we're offering OLTP in-memory capabilities, so customers get bleeding-edge performance for online transaction processing with the ability to perform transactions on average about 10 times faster. Standard Edition meets the performance requirements of most SMBs and includes a range of enhancements with SQL Server 2014. Some of the features available in SQL Server 2014 are higher max memory allocation of 128 GB to reduce SQL Server memory pressure on database performance, the ability to extend buffer pool to non-volatile storage such as SSD for even more memory with no risk of data loss, so you can help customers take full advantage of the latest technology in their new hardware investment. Delayed durability provides increased performance when disk I/O is slow. Improvements to full-text search and file stream offer dramatic performance and scale advances for building content management applications, and query planning enhancements aid in easy performance tuning. With SQL Server, you have a flexible platform to meet the specific availability needs of your customers cost-effectively. For larger customers with mission-critical workloads, SQL Server 2012 Enterprise Edition, Microsoft introduced Always On, which provides a level of database availability and failover required for mission-critical workloads. In SQL Server 2014, this feature has been enhanced to provide improved efficiency and is easier to deploy and manage with the addition of new tools and wizards. Standard Edition also offers basic high availability for SMBs, including database mirroring, log shipping, and two-node failover clustering, as well as support for Windows Server Core, which can reduce OS patching by as much as 50 to 60%. With Microsoft, you have the unique ability to let customers choose where they want to deploy their applications, whether on-premise, in the cloud, or a combination of the two. So you can deploy SQL Server in the way that best meets their specific business requirements. As small and mid-sized businesses grow, so do the demands on the databases they use to help run their organizations. Whether for inventory, online sales transactions, or customer management, a slow-performing or unavailable database can cause significant bottlenecks in the way people do their jobs, and it can cause customers to choose to do their business elsewhere. Microsoft makes powerful database functionality available to small and mid-sized organizations with a range of performance enhancements in SQL Server 2014 Standard Edition. And with new in-memory technology built into SQL Server 2014 Enterprise Edition, businesses are able to perform transactions an average of 10 times faster on the same hardware. SQL Server 2014 also includes built-in capabilities to avoid downtime, helping ensure your database and your business is always up and running. With SQL Server, you also get a proven database that you can rely on. With an install base in the millions, SQL Server's business-class data platform capabilities are the most widely used on the planet, 46% market share per IDC unit share. For organizations running any version of SQL Server, Windows Azure offers a fast, easy way to back up your on-site database to the cloud. Your backup database gets all the benefits of Windows Azure storage, including the ability to scale as your data grows, enterprise-grade data protection, and the elimination of capital expense for storage hardware, paying only for what you use. Backups can be automated, your backup files can be encrypted for added protection, and you can use point-in-time restore to recover data from a specified time in the past. In the case of an on-premise failure, you can also easily restore your backup in a Windows Azure virtual machine to help you get your database back online quickly. Footnote on disaster recovery with Microsoft Azure: for additional protection against failure and system downtime, you can get disaster recovery for your SQL Server database in the cloud with Windows Azure. Windows Azure Disaster Recovery can help to dramatically minimize service disruption if your database goes down. And because it leverages Windows Azure infrastructure, you can avoid the capital and operational costs of purchasing and maintaining additional hardware. Many organizations today are choosing to host business applications in the cloud. With Windows Azure, you can quickly move applications from on-site servers to the cloud, creating major benefits like avoiding the capital expense of purchasing new server hardware, leveraging Windows Azure cloud infrastructure to scale up or down as needed, and getting the added protection of multiple data backups in the geographies you choose. With Windows Azure, you have a choice in how to make the cloud work for your business. You can build new cloud-native applications or simply move applications from on-site servers to the cloud within a virtual machine. Here are a few great examples to consider. Number 1, your collaboration platform, SharePoint customization. Some organizations want to get the benefits of hosting their SharePoint platform in the cloud, but they require a greater level of customization than is available through SharePoint Online. To get the benefits of the cloud while maintaining the flexibility to customize your SharePoint site, you can host SharePoint in a virtual machine on Windows Azure. For many customers, this can provide the ideal balance of flexibility and convenience, giving you the control to customize your SharePoint experience while getting the cost benefits, ease of management, and scalability of cloud-based hosting. Secondly, SQL Server Database, or SQL Server in a VM. If you currently have a SQL Server database on site, Windows Azure provides a fast, easy way to benefit from cloud-based hosting. Windows Azure makes it simple to move your SQL Server database to the cloud. From there, you can depend on Windows Azure to scale up or down as needed to support the changing data demands of your business without the need for new capital expense. You can also rely on automatic backups of your database for added protection. Hosting your database on Windows Azure can make it easy to centralize your data and enable controlled access from mobile and remote customers and employees. Finally, because it's Microsoft, you have the advantage of knowing it's engineered to work together from the ground up, ensuring the greatest stability and security for your data, whether on-site or in the cloud. And then, business applications. A lot of small and mid-sized organizations are considering taking the first step of virtualizing their line of business applications, like accounting and CRM systems, by moving them into virtual machines on an on-site server. Once virtualized, it is easy to move these applications to VM hosted in the cloud, gaining the benefits of a fully managed, scalable infrastructure while maintaining control over your application. If you are running your application on Windows Server 2008 64-bit or newer, you can virtualize and move to the cloud all at once. For customers hosting their websites on-premise, there's a great opportunity to help them move their websites to the cloud with Windows Azure. Please see the appendix for an additional slide on this topic. A note about cloud security. One common concern for many customers moving to the cloud is security. with the idea that moving sensitive data and applications off-site compromises the level of data protection. However, when you compare the typical on-premise firewall protection deployed by many small and mid-sized organizations to the data protection and physical security measures implemented in Microsoft's worldwide data centers, there is no contest. With Windows Azure, you get the peace of mind in knowing that your applications and data are getting the same level of protection chosen by Microsoft's enterprise customers, including many of the world's largest financial institutions. Windows Azure provides a fully managed and monitored infrastructure with data backed up in multiple geographies, along with a range of security measures like patch management, security monitoring, and cryptographic protection of messages. And now, on to pricing and licensing. With SQL Server 2012, we introduced the following changes. With the migration to per core based licensing, partners found a revenue upside for renewing into greater than 4 cores per socket. Secondly, with the retirement of Enterprise Edition Server, there was a 20 core limitation for existing Enterprise Edition SA customers. Thirdly, SQL Server 2012 saw a 27% CAL price increase, the first price increase for the CAL in many years. Fourth, SQL Server 2012 introduced the BI Server Edition, enabling enterprise-class BI in a user or device-based model. And finally, an enhancement of software assurance allowed for unlimited virtualizations and license mobility, extending mobility to main SQL editions and unlimited virtualization for Enterprise Edition. SQL Server 2014 adds the following modifications. First, SQL Failover Server Rights becomes a software assurance benefit for all editions of SQL Server 2014. Secondly, SQL 2014 BI Edition has relaxed rules on multiplexing. And thirdly, no further pricing or licensing changes to SQL Server 2014. When licensing SQL 2012, the rights to run a second passive failover server were granted through the license assigned to the active server. The passive server is considered warm in that there is no work offloaded from the primary server. During a failover event, the passive server now becomes active and the license is reassigned. Without software assurance, the license must remain assigned for a period of 90 days. With SQL Server 2014, the failover server is granted through a software assurance benefit. Combined with license mobility within a server farm, which is also an SA benefit, we are enabling customers to have full flexibility to manage their high availability environments for both planned and unplanned downtime. This addresses a big gap customers had with the 90-day rule, where they had to remain on the secondary server for 90 days before they could fail back to the primary active server in the event of a failover. SQL BI provides customers with a user or device-based model for premium BI. Given that all server access requires CALs, there are many inadvertent license compliance scenarios that came up when feeding data into a BI server. We have addressed this complex issue with SQL Server 2014 by enabling batch processing of data into SQL BI Server without requiring CALs for those data sources supplying the data. We are defining batch processing as an activity that allows a group of tasks occurring at different times to be processed all at the same time. It is important to note that this only applies to SQL BI Server. All access to SQL Standard 2014 in the server or CAL licensing model remain as is, with all server access requiring a CAL. This slide provides you with a concise summary of the licensing changes in SQL Server 2014. Thanks for listening.